The stars and stripes of the American flag waves in the wind on a beautiful morning. The residents of the nation's capital are going about their morning with the news of this alien invasion being the main topic that's going around. A limousine with police escort stumps on the side of 1st Street Northeast. The United States President Obama exits the passenger seat and walks on the sidewalk towards the east front of the Capitol building. Many of the American press from CNN to NBC flashes their cameras and asks him many questions concerning the Niborians and the three monsters. Personal security guard surrounds the president and pushes them back as they continue to ask him questions. Barack stops in his tracks and turns to the reporters and cameramen. "Ladies and gentlemen, I understand your concern. I will discuss this matter to Congress and will shortly thereafter address the nation. Thank you." He looks ahead again and walks towards the building, with the press starting to shower him with more questions, even when he continues on. Standing near a podium, Obama addresses every member of the United States Congress, including members of the House of Representatives, with Vice President Joseph Biden and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sitting behind him. The House chamber is full, with both Democratic and Republican parties present, and they are about to listen to the president. Members of the Senate and House of Representatives, the United States, and possibly the entire world, is facing a major crisis once again. 18 years ago, the world was threatened by the existence of an alien. 18 years later, we are facing that threat once again, but this time in much bigger numbers. Yesterday in Honolulu, as the situation between the monsters seemed to be under control, 3 massive ships, housing a race of aliens known as Niborians, appeared over the city. At first, they seemed peaceful, but then, with no provocation, they attacked the citizens of Honolulu. In retaliation, the AMF reacted accordingly. Fortunately, with the help of the mutants, strangely, Godzilla, Gamera and King Bowser, and the Japanese AMF, the invaders have been pushed back. However, the invaders has taken over the majority of San Francisco. But right now, I'm not just thinking about San Francisco. I'm thinking about beyond that magnificent city, like Nevada, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and New York. We cannot sit idly by and let this happen. As Commander-in-Chief, I am awaiting Congress to act accordingly to mobilize our armed forces. Small chatter erupts within the chamber. Senator of West Virginia, Robert Byrd, stands on his feet and speaks. "Mr. President, I would like to bring your attention on this little information. By my understanding, you were given something by the original Dragonborn. What was it?" "A document that says Godzilla, Gamera, and King Bowser are man-made by ancient Atlantians, and they are here to save us all." More chatter ensues with layers of confusion. California's 1st Congressional District Representative Mike Thompson stands up. "Gentlemen, let's not take away from what had happened days prior. First, while it wasn't our fault, Godzilla provoked King Bowser in attacking San Francisco, and the current Dragonborn failed to keep Gamera in check, not to mention all of the damages that these monsters have caused." "Mr. Thompson, I understand your concern, and I'm very aware of it. I am going to arrange a meeting with Kenjiro Honda once all of this has blown over. But the key words were all of this, because this alien invasion is much bigger than we imagine." "I agree, but the matter still needs to be discussed." The Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, bangs the gavel to get everyone to quiet down. "Ladies and gentlemen, let's not get off topic. Now, let's put it in motion. All in favor of an all-out attack on the Niborians?" Every member in the chamber raises their right hand up. "All opposed?" The hands comes down to not answer. "Then it's unanimous. We, the United States Congress, declares a state of emergency and give full authorization to the President to mobilize the armed forces and plan a massive counterattack." As Pelosi smashes the gavel once more, every member stands to their feet and give a round of applause. The UN Security Council, comprised of its permanent members, the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Russia, and the People's Republic of China, and the non-permanent members, Uganda, Mexico, Portugal, the Republic of Turkey, Austria, and Japan, are having a meeting. The topics are humanitarian aid and what the Japanese is going to do when they reach the American West Coast. The answer that is agreed upon is that the JAMF will conduct rescue operations on top of continuing its attack on the Niborians. Sitting in a chair close to his desk in the Oval Office inside of the White House, cameras are facing him with his cabinet standing behind him. 3, 2, 1. President Obama is now live to over 306 million Americans of different ethnicities and backgrounds, both on TV and on the radio. "Good morning. My fellow Americans, yesterday in Hawaii, all three monsters, Godzilla III, Gamera, and King Bowser, were heavily monitored by our anti-megalosaurus force with the assistance of the Japanese AMF. Just after 5:30 p.m., three massive unidentified vessels appeared over the city of Honolulu. Reports from the USS Texas says that Dragonborn and Hellraiser had encountered the leader of these aliens, known as Niborians, from the planet Nibiru. At first, they were peaceful, but suddenly, as they describe it as such, the commander of this Niborian fleet turned on them and commenced an attack on the citizens of Honolulu. For the next 30 minutes, the situation grew when King Bowser and his fleet and Godzilla had arrived in Hawaii. But unexpectedly, they, along with Gamera, worked together against their ultimate weapon, a machine the Niborians call Tio, but we will designate it as Mechagodzilla. Thanks to the valuable information given to me by the original Dragonborn, Edward Anderson, these three monsters were not only created by man during the times of Atlantis, but they are created to live and protect our planet from any threat. My fellow Americans, I still remember the days of War of the Titans. We all do. But what I am about to tell you is very alarming. These Niborians are looking for the monster that caused us so much pain in 1992. My guess is good as yours on what they will do if they find it. We cannot let that happen. As we speak, the three monsters, or the Guardians of Earth, with the Anti-Megalosaurus Force are making their way to San Francisco. I have been granted full permission by Congress to use all measures to enact a counterattack. All men and women of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and AMF are to mobilize to the West Coast, effective immediately. Thank you, and God bless. In nearly every state, mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters are getting phone calls from their commanding officer. They are all the same, and it's bone-chilling. We are at war against the Niborians. They hug and kiss their family members goodbye, hoping that they can return alive. In his living quarters in the KBS King Henry, King Bowser is sitting in front of a microphone delivering a live broadcast to Utopia in its neighboring territories. He addresses to his people as brothers and sisters, and even dear friends, before explaining why the kingdom is about to be under attack, and this is his speech to the people. These alien invaders have successfully captured San Francisco and are currently moving north and south. A grave danger hangs over our heads. I know that I have not fulfilled the many promises, but this promise I am willing to keep. I, as well as my allies, will repel these invaders back from where they came. But in order to do that, I need your help, my dear friends. If I am defeated, you will be subjected by their treacherous hand at every turn. Our victory over the tyrants during the Civil War showed the world that we could unite as one. Now, I'm asking you once again to put your lives on the line. But you are not fighting to secure a major victory. The battle that you will be fighting in is a battle of liberation. Liberation of our old American allies. A justified battle. And if we succeed, all of your wants and needs will be granted in the next 3 months. Death to the Niborian invaders! All throughout the kingdom, cheers erupts from the people. Utopian Minister of Defense Heath Mimsy calls for an immediate mobilization. Supreme General Arthur Matsius is awakened in his barracks and is given the order to take his post. Back in the King Henry, Bowser stands up and steps away from the microphone. Edward watches him as he exits his quarters. You're not going to tell them the truth? Why would I? They still believe their clone is the one that created them. I want to keep it that way. I see. On a different note, this tracking will take us 20 days. I'm concerned that there won't be much to save. Not to worry. I'm using the same method of how I transported the royal fleet, but on a much bigger scale. How close can you get us? Close enough to reach San Francisco by 3 or 4 days. Do what you must. Edward unsheathes the sword as it glows white. Tramuvli Humi. He hoists the sword above his head, and a bright light engulfs all of the ships in the fleet, including Godzilla. Then they disappear. All of the ships and monster reappears again. As expected, it confuses everyone. Everyone, do not worry. I just made our journey a bit more shorter than it was. We are now much closer to California. We'll be there within 3 days.